On tonight's WWE Raw, The Miz gets got, the Mystery Man is revealed, and Zack Ryder gets dragged to hell. Almost. It's time for the Monday Night Raw review. Brought to you by UnifiedWrestling.com. Now tonight on WWE Raw, this was a good show. Basically setting up a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen over the next couple of months. It started out with John Cena coming out and making his speech to the folks in Tennessee. This was broadcast from Memphis, Tennessee, by the way, tonight. Telling everybody that he's going to do some things differently this year. But one thing he's not going to do is give up his credo, even though Kane is trying to convince him that he needs to go ahead and embrace his hate. He has a little speech. Again, mixed response from the crowd, as usual. This is apparently what they're trying to combat by having this whole line of the beef that's going to be basically going on between him and Kane. So we'll see what happens with it, but more gets brought up within the show as it moves along. Now, the first match, this was between Daniel Bryan and Cody Rhodes. Now, the winner was Daniel Bryan with a reversal and a roll-up. Now, it looks like Daniel Bryan is trying to basically show some more enthusiasm than what he has done in the past. As he's admitted himself, he's one of the people on the roster right now that probably has the least amount of charisma. But he's trying to show some enthusiasm. At the end of the match, he was standing on the ramp screaming, "Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!" And the crowd was liking it. There's a whole lot of people who know him just because of his phenomenal wrestling skills. So he's trying his best to put himself over, which with the championship, I don't know if he necessarily needs to do that as much, but what the heck, let him do it and see where it takes him. Moving on to the next match, or actually before the next match, The Miz is voicing some concerns to John Laurinaitis about his safety, based on the fact that R-Truth came back and threw him a nice beating last week. And he leaves this meeting after John Laurinaitis tells him that he's going to have somebody watching out for R-Truth, basically to make sure this, or try and prevent it so that it doesn't happen again. The Miz says that he will not be a sitting duck, and lo and behold, as he's walking away, R-Truth pops up on the screen and does his best duck impression, just to let everybody know that he is there, and he's just waiting in the wings for his shot to take another shot at The Miz. Now, moving on to match number 2, this was Wade Barrett versus Santino. Right now, knowing that Wade Barrett's getting a big push, and Santino is pretty much known for his comedic skills, more so his wrestling as good as it is, we pretty much know which way this match is going to go. And it does. Wade Barrett beats Santino without too much trouble, but Santino does put in some great effort to make the exchange or the interchange pretty humorous, little event. If you got a job, at least he throws something extra on it for the people. And so Wade Barrett wins this one, and we move on to match number 3. Now, this is Sheamus versus The Miz. Now, this is technically not even really a match. The bell never actually rung. Before the match even started, The Miz attacks Sheamus early. He ties him up in the ropes, the lower 2 ropes, and starts trying to take as much advantage as he can to try to soften him up. It doesn't work. Sheamus gets out of it and gets out of the ropes, kicks the Miz a little bit, and then he gets the Miz not wrapped up on the top rope, but puts him in that position where he can apply the Irish Riestra, which is basically when he clubs him repeatedly in the chest over and over, and this time he actually pounded him a little bit more than he usually pounds most people. And the Miz finally breaks away, and he looks like he wants to just leave the match. Runs off out of the ring and off into the crowd, and that's where he runs into R-Truth, who has a mic, and he lets him know that that little Jimmy said that the Miz is going to get got. And after this, the Miz wants to run back towards the ring, which, that's where the beating was, so not real sure what the strategy was there. but he ran straight into a big old gigantic boot from from Sheamus. As Sheamus caught him with a bro kick outside of the ring, and as he's laid out, Sheamus basically serves him up to R-Truth, and R-Truth goes for the ultimate weapon, which he always goes to, which is the half-full bottle of water. Bounces that off of the Miz's head, and then he takes off into the crowd. And so by the way, he made it known that, this weekly beating has been brought by R-Truth. So we're going to see some more of this in the coming weeks. Don't know where they're going to go with this, but yeah, the Miz is the official R-Truth target at this point. Moving on to match number 4, this was CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship. Now, Dolph Ziggler wound up getting away with this one, and the way it occurred was when CM Punk got Ziggler. Basically, he had already gotten Ziggler to tap, but John Laurinaitis, for whatever reason, basically trying to micromanage. He came down to the ring, talking to the referee about the cover that had come off of the turnbuckle. Now, Ziggler had tapped already, but once they were able to get the referee's attention again, Dolph Ziggler went for the zigzag. He missed and managed to knock Laurinaitis off down on the apron. Punk went for the GTS. Ziggler was able to slip out of it and pushed CM Punk towards John Laurinaitis, and John Laurinaitis appeared to have pulled down the top ring rope. And CM Punk went over the top of it, down to the floor, and was not moving. And he stayed not moving all the way through the 10 count. He got counted out, and the winner was Dolph Ziggler. Now, CM Punk basically, later in the show, CM Punk was talking to John Laurinaitis about, how he felt that it was John Laurinaitis trying to screw him out of it. And, no more shady business better happen between now and when he gets his rubber match at Royal Rumble. So, more shady business is going to happen. We know it, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to match number 5. Now, this was the Divas match. And this was a tag match between the Bellas and Kelly and Eve Torres. As much as I hate to say it, a lot of it was the same, but a lot of it was not quite the same. We had the Bellas with Twin Magic, Kelly, the butt slap in the stink face, ho hum yawn, and then we had Eve with a moonsault off the top turnbuckle. One of these wrestlers is standing out. One of these wrestlers should get a push. Hint, hint. Okay? The Bellas wound up winning this match. As always, they switched places at the end, and whichever one it was rolled up Eve. Now, again, one of these people is putting in a little more work than the others, so we'll see if anything happens with that, but welcome to WWE. Moving on, we had the big reveal. It is finally here. This mystery man that they've been prophesied, the two eerie little school children have been going on and on about for the last month and a half, 2 months. It's they finally brought in. The prophecy is here. The end is now. The lights go off, and when they come back on, there's somebody down at the top of the ramp with the glow-in-the-dark jacket on, and when the lights come back up, it is Chris Jericho, which is what everybody's been saying ever since they started this whole hype. And now Chris Jericho comes in, he comes down the ramp, he gets in the ring, he tries to get the crowd hyped up some more, and they start cheering again. People are chanting Y2J and Chris Jericho, and he runs a couple of laps around the ring. He high-fives a bunch of the people in the crowd. He gets back in the ring, he drops the mic, says nothing, and goes back up the ramp. And then he wrestles with the cameraman for a minute to grab the camera, apparently. And then he leaves. It's like, really? All that hype for that. I don't know if maybe he got tongue-tied. Maybe it was, just an emotional moment for him. Or maybe he just forgot what his lines were supposed to be. But that's what happened. So it's Chris Jericho. So just like everybody guessed. So yeah, moving on. Match number 6. This was the 6-man tag match between Big Show, Zack Ryder, and John Cena versus Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, and Kane. Now, before the match started, David Otunga came down and talked to the ref and let him know that Kane was not going to be appearing in that match, so it was going to instead be a handicap match. Now, the match went on. It ended up with John Cena basically getting an attitude adjustment on Jack Swagger for the pin. Now, after the match, Kane's music pops up, and everybody starts looking towards the ramp. John Cena actually gets out of the ring and starts to go up the ramp, basically just to meet the situation head on. But Kane starts tearing his way through the floor of the mat, and pops up out of the floor of the mat, and immediately starts beating up on Zack Ryder. As soon as John Cena realizes this, he runs back, he gets hit. Kane comes back out of the ring, and he starts covering John Cena's mouth and nose, suffocating him until he's not moving anymore. He goes back into he grabs John Cena's leg like he's getting ready to drag him into the hole that's in the mat, but instead he goes back inside the ring and grabs Zack Ryder, starts to drag him into the hole. John Cena finally wakes up. He jumps back into the ring. He grabs Zack Ryder and pulls him out of there, and then a couple of seconds later, a big burst of flame comes out of the hole that's in the mat. So pretty good pyrotechnics. That was a nice little bit. Everybody was anticipating Kane doing something to John Cena in this show. This was kind of a good capper to it. Again, we'll see what direction they go, but good show. Apart from the highly anticlimactic non-event that was Chris Jericho coming back, it was a pretty good show. So we'll see what happens on SmackDown and also next week leading in towards Royal Rumble in a couple of weeks. But for now, that's all we have for tonight. This is your host, the Invincible E. Vincent, and take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.